The good gear.
Well, might be a good time to explain what we're doing. if we knew what we're doing though. Now, so this is what's known as the Brewers Mash. So we're taking the malt barley, and that sugar that's locked up in that malted barley is going to be extracted and turned into fermentable sugar, which we can ferment to make beer. So this is the start of the beer making process. Is that alright, Tom?
Yeah, mate.
So this has to go in at a very specific temperature for that sort of extraction process to work, and that's what this first vessel of the brewery is for. If you can see it here, this is our crushed malt barley. So this is what forms the base of the beer, basically, and that's what we're going to be adding the almonds to as well. So this recipe we're using about 250 kilos of grain, and we're brewing a porter, which is a style of beer, a bit of a traditional style of beer that's this one's going to be sweet, it's going to be malty, chocolatey, nutty, almondy, to match the almond. That's alright?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
You can hit your hot with the off here. You want a spot?
There's one spot. Yeah, give it a go. I'm ready when you're ready.
Yeah.
Oh, it smells good.
Well, you can get those almonds. Where do you get more of this stuff? In they go. Next one.
Only we knew something else.
Tommy, you better tip that one.
Yeah, only we knew something else around.
Bit of continuation. Here you go. See those almonds there? And they're fused in that mash. Yeah, it's going to be a really nice, deep ruby colour, like really deep, almost like caramelly sort of deep red. That's a lot to do with the malts that we've used, but also that roast almond's going to come through nicely. Don't want to brew too heavy a beer because you wouldn't. The almond really, it's a nice subtle sort of character. If you brew too heavy a beer, it's going to get lost. We looked at the almonds, and obviously they're a whole product, so they need to be sort of crushed, but not crushed so fine. I mean, almonds, the flavour from the almonds is going to come from the roast, so that roasting process that Almondco has done. And that's what we're going to infuse into this malt bill here. So you're going to get that roasted almond character in the beer. So we needed a roast product. We also needed it diced and crushed, not too small. If it was too small, it's going to plug up this process here, and we won't get any extract out of it. So I think we found a happy medium. And like we talked about before, it's about 10% of the whole grain bill. The whole recipe is 10% almonds, so hopefully we're getting enough in there. If we could get more in, maybe next batch. We'll see. So each beer is different, but today we're aiming for 67 degrees. It's going to give a nice rounded finished beer. It's very specific part of the brewing process is this part. this will affect how the beer ends up, basically. So we've got just over 67, which is good because it's a pretty cold day today. 750 metres so far, so that's good. So that mash is now set at our mashing temperature, 67 degrees. It's going to sit for 1 hour while the malt sugars extract and they turn into fermentable sugars, they liquefy, so then we've got a liquid. First we start off with grain, then we're going to get a liquid from that. Once we crack that mash tun from the bottom, the liquid will drain out and we'll collect that over here in the kettle. So when you guys come back in a couple of hours, that'll be ready to have a look at in a liquid form, I guess. How's that? 1 hour. 1 hour rest while the almonds do their magic.
All very good.
So,
another great collaboration between a couple of great Riverland companies, isn't it?
There's a lot to talk about with the beer too. I mean, we've got hops in there. We've got an Australian hop in the end of boil, so there's going to be a bit of bitterness in there. There's going to be a bit of flavour from that too, without overpowering it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you want that nice malty sort of beer.
Yeah.
So it's got about 5 different real main elements in the beer. Hopefully they all come together. It's cacao nibs, so cacao bean from the husk that makes chocolate. Okay, and it's a coarse, rough product, but when you steep it, it just gets that chocolate flavour out of it, and that's what's going to be the chocolate for this beer. So actual chocolate nibs. So it's just going. It's not going into this part. Yeah, you can smell that really sort of. It's almost a byproduct of the chocolate making process, but it's the husk. It's part of the husk of that cacao nib. But yeah, really rich chocolate character from that. But it kind of has to be steeped first in the beer to kind of help extract those flavours. It's going to be a good beer, hopefully.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll find out. It reads well. Yeah. So, like I said, you've got that really rich, deep red colour from the roasted malts, the caramel malts, toffee malts that are in there. Bit of character for that final beer. Right, g'day. So here we are, 4 weeks later, we're at packaging. So the beer has been made, we brewed the beer, that brew day, the almonds went in, then it went under ferment for 2 weeks. It's had a week of conditioning in the tanks, another week of conditioning with those cacao nibs. So basically we've taken those nibs and steeped the beer on a kind of like a big tea bag. So get all that chocolatey flavour from those nibs. So that's another component to the beer. And then the beer's finished. We carbonate it in our packaging tank and we run it straight through the canning line. So today is basically filling the cans, labelling. So what we have here is our micro canning line that we installed late last year, and we are moving most of our products through cans now. So the process is very simple. I would describe it as just basically filling a pint of beer, but then you're sealing the capping straight away. And then you've got a perfectly sealed, free of any light, free of any oxygen. So it's really good for the beer. Keep that nice and cold, and it's like a mini keg basically. So cans are quite a good package for the actual product and keeping that freshness of the beer. So that's the reason we're going that way. But basically the process is you've got blank empty cans at the start, goes through a rinser and a sanitizer and a drain, turns it back up the other way, flushes it with CO2, fills it with beer, applies a lid, seals the lid onto the can, through a dryer, through the labeler, boom. Then we packaged up the beer. This machine does 1 carton a minute, so really they start flying through, and we'll package a whole batch of beer in a few hours. So then we've got the final product into the carton, onto the shelves, and away we go. That's it then. Job done. Bit of zoom. This batch we brewed a double of the almond, and these are single batches. So batch size is this 1,200 litres. So we brewed 2,400 litres for the almond, and give us about 300 cartons, or 2 full pallets of beer if you want to visualise it in that regard. And that's the batch size. And I think that's all we're going to make. So limited edition. Until the next one. Yeah, we are business as usual. With the appropriate restrictions, of course, social distancing, and we do have a smaller venue capacity and room capacity, but we make sure everyone complies as they arrive. But that being said, we will have some kegs of this beer. We're making 10 kegs basically, going to a few select venues. Woolshed having 2, so there'll be 2 kegs of this almond porter on. Come and try it. Come get it while it's hot. We've got the finished product right here, and then the next step is taste. So come and let her give it a shot. This might be the very first off-site tasting of the beer. So you can see it's a porter, so it's not so dark that you can't see through it. It's got a really nice carbonation level, nice head, and the beer is nice and clear and finished here. So.
Colour looks beautiful, doesn't it?
So it's a beautiful, dark, rich colour. You get that sort of almond nuttiness on the nose.
Yeah, that roasted almond really comes through.
The roastiness comes through. When you taste it, you get that chocolate. So
Yeah.
give that a shot. Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks.
Well done.
Well done, thank you.
So really,
It's beautiful.
it is.
Really, really nice.
Nice, rich flavour.
Mm.
A lot of sweetness there from that lactose, gives it a nice full body, helps the chocolate. You've got the nice almond character there, you've got the nice malts there, and that's the beer. You get a really nice full flavour, and then you get the almond sort of character there too.
Fantastic.
So yeah, that's the finished product right there. The 6-pack Scorched Almond Porter, 5% alcohol. Get your hands on it quick, I reckon it'll go.
Yeah,
Limited edition. That's right.
You guys have done a great job out here at the Woolshed Brewery, so
Thanks very much.
thanks a lot. Cheers again.
Thanks for your help. It's been a pleasure working with you.
Thank you.
There it is. Look at that. Works out. Perfect. Zoom.